What's going on, everybody? Ronnie DiMaggio here, product specialist at BMW of Morristown. And in today's video, we have probably the most special car of the year, probably the most special car that we have filmed to date. This is the 2023 BMW M4 CSL. So the M4 CSL is a super limited production version of the M4 that serves two purposes. So it is designed to commemorate the 50th anniversary of BMW M. So they released it here in 2022 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of M, which was founded in 1972. It is also designed to be BMW's most track-focused, most aggressive, most high-performance car in the lineup right now. The CSL nameplate has a lot of history to it. We had like the 3.0 CSL, we had the E46 M3 CSL, we've had GTSs, we've had CSs, but the CSL is kind of the most heralded nameplate in the BMW landscape, and that's what this is here. This is a 2023 M4 CSL, and in today's video, we're gonna do an extensive look at the exterior of the car. We're gonna talk a lot about performance, and we'll hop inside and show you what the interior of the CSL looks like. But to start, let's of course pop the hood and take a look at the engine. So under the hood of the M4 CSL is the same engine that is under the hood of the standard M3 and M4, but in the CSL it is tuned up to 543 horsepower. It does make the same 479 pound-feet of torque that you'd get in a competition M4. BMW makes a couple of tweaks under the hood here to bump that horsepower up. We don't know exactly what it was that was done, at least not officially, but you can suspect there were some changes to boost pressure, probably running a couple more pounds of boost, and other tuning adjustments. As far as I know, the hardware is largely the same as a standard S58 competition, but one thing, if you want to take a close look at the strut tower brace, that is unique to the CSL. So you can see it attaches above either strut tower and connects down low here as well. The CSL is all about being rigid and being sharp and aggressive on the track. So that strut tower brace helps to decrease movement in the body and generally keep things a little bit tighter, which is what you want out of a CSL car. But overall, the powertrain is largely the same as an M4 competition. Does make considerably more horsepower, 40 or so more horsepower. And it does pair to the same 8-speed automatic transmission and make about the same torque. But one big change under the hood is, of course, the really aggressive strut tower brace, which looks super cool. If we want to take a close look at the actual underside of the hood, another thing you'll notice is if you get really close, it's actually a carbon fiber hood. So hopefully that comes up okay on camera. And we have a really cool M logo here in the hood as well. So really cool to see underneath the hood. Another focus of CSLs is lightweight. So BMW goes through a lot to make the CSL a bit lighter than a normal M4 competition. It is about 220 pounds lighter than a standard M4 competition. That comes from carbon fiber hood and trunk. We have a ton of stuff gutted out of the interior. There's no back seat. There's no Harman Kardon sound system. There is still air conditioning. There's no center console, like a lot of super lightweight stuff. The seats, this one has the full carbon bucket seats that are manually adjustable. So that's cool, that saves a ton of weight. So lots of lightweight stuff, which we will continue to display as we move around the CSL. But let's take a look at the front end styling here. So you can see that the grille is totally revised. If we want to take a close look at the grille, that is unique to the CSL, these kind of Y-shaped bars that go across rather than the multi-horizontal bar design in the standard grille. It also has the red pinstripe around the side. That's part of the CSL graphics package, which is standard on all CSLs. You can do the graphic package delete if you don't like the red, but you get the red in the grille, the hood, a bunch of other places around the car. Looks cool, and in my opinion helps the car stand out as a CSL rather than any other Brooklyn Gray M4 comp. This one's frozen Brooklyn Gray, but still nice detail. So you get that full CSL grille that is unique. These little pieces down here are just part of the carbon fiber exterior package on the standard M4, but you can see as we look at those that they look really cool, but you can find those on a standard M4 comp. One thing I want to take another closer look at is the indents in the hood. So you can see that BMW paints the majority of the hood in frozen Brooklyn gray, but if you take a look at these indented portions here, it's just exposed glossy carbon fiber with the red pinstripe around it, which looks really nice. So as you can see already just up front, lots of styling changes. Another styling change for the CSL, and my particularly favorite styling change, is the yellow daytime running lights. We saw that on the M5 CS, and we see it again on the CSL here. Looks really, really cool. That's just a really fun little detail that BMW did there. Let's take a look at the carbon fiber front splitter. It is CSL specific, and it is pretty darn aggressive. You can see, especially right here, it comes out quite a lot. There's a big, like probably an 1.5 to 2 inch gap there between the bumper and the splitter. So more aero bits that are of course functional, but also happen to look really cool. So that is the front end styling. Let's take a look at the side of the car. A couple things right off the bat that you'll notice about the CSL. The wheels are not the 825s or the 826s that you see on a standard M4. If we take a close look at those, we can see that they're a totally unique design. They're not bicolor, they're not gloss black or anything like that. They are just flat black wheels with a red caliper hiding behind it. You'll also notice, if you have a keen eye, that these are Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. You can option a CSL with Cup 2 tires, but most people will probably be better suited to the 4S. If you're really going to thrash this car around a track, go for the Cup 2s, 100%. But the 4S is a much more daily drivable tire. Not that anybody's really daily driving an M4 CSL, but if you want to drive it on the street, you want to have good rain performance and a little bit more forgiving performance in colder temperatures, the 4S is definitely the tire for you, as opposed to the Cup 2. I believe it's the Cup 2R, which is a super sticky and aggressive tire. Awesome for track work, not necessarily ideal for street driving. In front of the wheel, one thing we can take a closer look at is the little M4 CSL graphic that is affixed to the front splitter there. It's just a little decal in that red color, but it looks cool. Another little thing to make the CSL stand out. Coming along the side of the car, you'll notice more red. We have the red surrounded M4 badge. We have red all along the lower side skirt as well. So lots of red accents all over the car. Carbon fiber roof, and might be tough. We're gonna lift the camera like way up in the air. You can see the red on the roof as well. So lots of red contrasting against the frozen Brooklyn gray paint. But that's the side of the car. Other than the red accents, the wheels, and the front splitter, which you can sort of see from the side, mostly standard fare M4 comp from the side aesthetically. Which looks really nice. One thing you also might notice if you have a really sharp eye is the M4 CSL sits a little bit lower as we move to the back of the car. It's about 8 millimeters lower ride height than a standard M4 competition. That benefits it aesthetically, of course. Everybody knows a lower car looks good, especially on sports cars, but it also benefits the handling characteristics of the car as well. The M4 CSL has a lot of bespoke, unique suspension parts, stiffer springs, stiffer anti-roll bars. The bushings in the suspension are not the forgiving rubber bushings that we use on all of our other cars. They are solid bushings. They have much less, if not no play at all in them, so you get really raw road feel. Just driving this car around our parking lot, you can tell it's kicking up rocks from the sticky tires. You hear it all because there's no sound, less sound deadening, and it feels so tight and sharp, like your spine is bolted to the seat, and the road feel and everything is so intense in this car. It's really cool. But looking at the back of the car, first things first, you notice this awesome duckbill trunk. That is kind of a callback to the E46 M3 CSL. It looks really great. That's a great angle to look at it from. The duckbill just kind of pops up a little bit. It's like an integrated spoiler. And of course, this is carbon fiber, as is the roof and hood, which helps with weight reduction, of course. We can take a closer look at the M4 CSL badge right here. Cool little touch that all the M4 badges are trimmed in that red color. And while you're in that area, you can notice the laser tail lights. So let's get a close look at those tail lights. If we want to kind of go around the side here, you can see that they are laser tail lights. and boy, do they look cool. BMW uses laser headlights in a lot of vehicles now, but the laser taillights are really awesome, and of course specific to the M4 CSL. The M4 GTS had those unique OLED taillights that we see everywhere on aftermarket F30 and F8X cars, and for good reason. They look great, but BMW likes to do something special for the kind of limited M4 taillights, or at least it's becoming a trend now with the GTS from the F82, and now the G82 CSL has these unique laser taillights, which look awesome. Personally, the taillights are kind of my favorite touch to the CSL. When you see them light up like that, especially when it's kind of gloomy, a little bit darker out like it is now, looks really cool. We can take a close look at this diffuser down here in the bottom area near the exhaust tips and whatnot. The diffuser is, of course, carbon fiber, and the exhaust tips are framed by that beautiful carbon fiber diffuser, quad exhaust, of course. With that said, we've taken a look at the styling. Let's go ahead and take a look inside the trunk. And the most notable thing to find inside the trunk here is if we take a close look at the actual trunk itself. Maybe I'll get a flashlight on that. Hopefully we can show it really nicely. But the trunk is carbon fiber, of course. That is part of the weight reduction measures that BMW puts in to the CSL here. Taking a look inside the trunk, really standard fare. We have our owner's manual and front plate bracket here. But if we get that out of the way, you can see it is just an M4 competition trunk. Nothing super special, but as we look in the back of the trunk, you can see there are no folding rear seats because there are no rear seats at all. That is part of the rear seat delete that helps save weight on the CSLs. So that is pretty cool to see. No power trunk either, so you're on your own here, but luckily it's carbon fiber, and boy, is it really light. If you could feel that, it's super light. You can just move the trunk like a feather, which is pretty cool. Same thing with the hood. This is generally, in our videos, the part where I would hop into the back seat, but BMW ditched the back seat in the name of track attack work and performance and weight saving, so no back seat here. So with that said, we've taken a look at the trunk. Let's go ahead and hop in the interior because there are a ton of really cool CSL specific items in there, so let's hop in. All right, so before we actually hop in the CSL, I want to show you guys what it's like to get into a CSL because it's pretty cool. So let's take a close look at the side of this seat here. Really, really cool and aggressive deep carbon bucket seat. These are not the standard carbon bucket seats that you get on a standard M3 and M4s. You saw that lit up CSL badge, which is awesome. You can take a close look at that as well because it looks super cool. These are not the carbon buckets that are optionable on standard M3 and M4 models. These are CSL specific. As you can see, they have this full bolster right here. I will tell you, it's really a bit of a chore to get in and out of these seats, especially if you're like me and you sit nice and close to the wheel. You're, putting in some work to get into these seats, but it's worth it because they hold you in really well, and boy, do they look cool. They also save a lot of weight. Have the cool CSL graphic there on the manual slider. These seats are manually adjustable, no power seats, and the backrest is also pretty much fixed in place. So you're sitting at the position that BMW tells you to be sitting in, and you can slide the seat backwards and forwards. There is some adjustment down here with some Torx bits and whatnot. So you can adjust the seat slightly, but it's really just sliding and then some other little tweaks. But those are the seats. Let's actually take a look at the rear cargo area or the back seat area if we want to get in and take a look at where the back seat would be. In a normal M4, you can see that there is no back seat. It's just a little net and an indent for a helmet right there. And you saw that really cool CSL badge plaque in the back. So nothing in the back seat really besides the helmet holder and the CSL plaque. So that is unique to the CSL, of course, as well. But with all that stuff said, let's actually hop inside and we'll take a look at some more CSL specific stuff. You probably saw the steering wheel is different, the center console, so let's take a closer look at those things. All right, so here we are inside of the 2023 M4 CSL. You might be able to hear the engine running. We just started it up, so the systems could wake up and stuff so we could show it to you guys. But let's talk a little bit more about these seats because I talked about the ingress and the egress, but I didn't necessarily talk about what it's like to sit in them. They're not the most comfortable seat in the world. I will be honest. The 5 Series seats are what you go for if you want something comfortable and relaxed. these are really, really aggressive. I'm a relatively small guy. I'm only about 5'9", and the bolsters are really tight against my side. My hips are really tightly held in, and I have basically no room to move my legs because there's that center section and then really high thigh bolsters as well. You're not going anywhere when you're throwing this car around corners because the seats are going to glue you in place, but you do sacrifice a little bit of comfort. The lumbar support sticks out pretty far and the back kind of pitches you forward, which is all really good for track driving because you want to be in an attentive position. But comfort-wise, these are not 7 Series seats, let's put it that way, but they look awesome and they hold you in place so incredibly well. That said, I should say I could sit in this car for 2 hours comfortably and I wouldn't get out like bent over with dislocated vertebrae. They're not that crazy bad, but they are aggressive, so know that. Other CSL specific interior stuff, we talked about the rear seat area. The rear seat is deleted in the CSL, so you have that helmet holder and the cool plaque, which you saw, which looks really cool. Other CSL specific stuff in the interior, so the steering wheel here is Alcantara wrapped, and it has a red stripe at the top there at the noon position, 12 o'clock, so you can point yourself around on the racetrack. The center console is deleted. There is no lift-up center console or anything like that anymore. Instead, you do have a USB-C port down here and a little like phone holder, I guess, or something you could put knickknacks in. Of course, trimmed in carbon fiber. The entire center console is carbon fiber. And then you have a little kind of leather area at the back, but way too far back for an armrest. That said, I saw a lot of reviewers complaining about, or not necessarily complaining about, but a little bit upset that there was no center armrest because there's nowhere to put your arm. I find the bolster is so aggressive that I use it as an armrest. So as you can see, my arm is rested on the bolster and I'm comfortably having my hand on the shifter here. And then I can rest my arm on the bolster and put my hand down here at like the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock position on the steering wheel. So I have no problem with the lack of a center armrest. The bolsters are so incredibly aggressive that they almost function as armrests, which is pretty cool. So those are the seats and the armrest situation. Other notable things, no Harman Kardon because it's a CSL, it's lightweight. The normal M4 would have Harman Kardon. No heated seats or ventilated seats, of course. And then you do have a little bit different center console area. So instead of cup holders, you do have wireless charging, interestingly, but you have a little area there and a slot to put the key. You can see this little rubber part pops off and it stores the key perfectly. It's shaped just like the key and there's a little place for it down there in the center. That is one thing to note about the CSL. No cup holders, which is an interesting choice. You do have bottle holders on the side, but if you have like a coffee from Starbucks or something, it's not going to work in those bottle holders, but a water bottle will fit, of course. Other things that are CSL specific, if we look at the stitching on the doors, you can see that they have this unique red and white sort of pattern to them, which looks really nice. You see that stitching on the seats, the center console area, and the doors as well. Another thing, of course, no sunroof. That is not CSL specific. You can get the normal M4 with a carbon fiber roof, but the CSL, of course, has no moonroof, a carbon fiber roof. So that said, the gauge cluster and the screen are more or less, not even more or less, they are the same as a standard M4. So if you're interested in seeing what those are like, check out these videos that we'll link to here in the top right corner of your play screen, where we checked out a standard M4, and you can see what the iDrive 7 system looks like in that car. We also have videos on M5s and M8s where we talk a lot more about the iDrive system in M cars, where we'll go into detail. So check those out. Because nothing crazy unique. The only thing that is unique is that the M4 CSL graphic appears in the top of the gauge cluster. But that's going to do it for the interior. Overall, really cool place to be. It feels super track focused and aggressive, which is awesome. So that's going to do it for the inside. Let's hop outside and wrap up. All right, so that is going to do it for this walk around and overview of the 23 M4 CSL. Overall, really incredible car, really special. Every little thing about it feels special, from when you're sitting in the driver's seat and you look out over this hood with the carbon fiber, to when you're looking at the yellow DRLs, you're sitting in those crazy bucket seats, you're hearing the rocks kick up against the fenders, the fender liners, because of the lack of sound deadening and stuff. All really, really cool motorsports feel to this car. So that is going to do it for this one. Really hope you guys enjoyed checking out this M4 CSL with us, because we really enjoyed sharing it with you. So that's going to do it for this one. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at BMW of Morristown. Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to the channel if you think we deserved it. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.